together. And Lord, just open up our hearts now to what you have to say to us. Help us to listen and help us to take what we hear and apply it to our lives. In Jesus' name I pray. This morning, as the lights come back on, you want to open your Bibles to John chapter 6. John chapter 6. Last week we started a series looking at some of the I am statements in the Bible. We started with the great I am, where God gives Moses his own personal name in Exodus chapter 3, and talked about how God is a personal God, and so he wants to be known and he can know him. The rest of the sermons, I think, will be in the New Testament, mainly from the words of Jesus, but there's some other ones throughout the New Testament where you see this I am statement again. And this morning we're going to look at the story in John chapter 6 where Jesus says, I am the bread of life, and talk about what that means and try to apply that to our lives. Now it's Memorial Day. We kick off the summer, and many of you may be gone at different times throughout the summer. I'll be gone some. We have Honduras and then family vacation. And so between now and August the 5th, we don't have to tear down or set up. And so that's the good news. But between now and August the 5th, let's do remember each other in prayers, because I think even Sunday, there'll be a number of people who are gone, traveling on the road, and let's just remember each other. But Friday is June 1st. So we're halfway through the year, or at least at the end of June. June is the 6th month of the year, so we're halfway through the year. So don't raise your hand, but I know that many of you probably had a New Year's resolution of one kind or another. And some of you may have had a New Year's resolution to lose weight, get in better shape, and take better care of yourself. And now we're halfway through the year, basically, and so maybe we need to do a checkup and see how we're doing. So, I brought a scale. We're all going to get them. No, we didn't do that. But, maybe we should check our weight and see how we're doing for those who made that commitment. And so here's just kind of a checkup to try to encourage you now that you're halfway through that New Year's resolution. So here's some rules for dieting that you may not have known. And so if you're struggling with your diet, I think these rules will help you get back on track. Okay, so you may want to write these down. Some rules for dieting. First of all, if you eat something and no one else sees you eating it, then there are no calories in that food. Now, I'm not sure you knew that or not, but that's a rule. If you eat it, no one sees you eat it, there are no calories. Second of all, if you drink a diet drink with a candy bar, the calories in the candy bar are canceled out by the diet drink. So be encouraged. Just drink a Diet Coke with your candy bar. Here's one I didn't know, but I thought this was helpful. When you eat with someone else, the calories don't count if you don't eat more than they do. I didn't know that. So, just Fred, you and I need to get together. We can eat a whole lot. And as long as we don't eat more than each other, no calories. Here's another one. Food used for medicinal purposes never count, such as a gallon of ice cream or a tube of chocolate chips after you've had a hard day's work and you're just depressed and you need to be encouraged. Those will count. Or if you have a breakup with your significant other and you eat a lot of ice cream or candy, those don't count because it's for medicinal purposes. This is one I did know, and I try this oftentimes. This is a rule for dieting. If you fatten up everyone else around you, you look better. That's a good one. Cookie pieces contain no calories. The process of breaking the cookies into pieces causes calorie drainage. Things licked off knives and spoons have no calories. Did you know that? Things licked off knives and spoons have no calories, provided you're in the process of preparing something for someone else. Examples are peanut butter on a knife while you're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for somebody else, and ice cream on a spoon as you're making a sundae for somebody else. Those calories don't count. And then here's one more that you may not have known about. Food that has the same color have the same number of calories, with the food item with the least amount of calories being the same for all the food of that same color. Examples are spinach, green. So pistachio ice cream has the same amount of calories as spinach. Cottage cheese and banana cream pie. Well, the cottage cheese are the number of calories that you get. And then, of course, there's a note that was made for this one, and that is that chocolate is a universal color and may be substituted for any other food color. So, just some rules to help you in your diet. Now, I know you're wondering, we've started this series on the I am statements, and so what does dieting have to do with these I am statements in the Bible? Well, one of the I am statements in the Bible is about food, especially bread. And so let's jump right in. John chapter 6, verse 35. We'll back up and put it all in context. But in John chapter 6, verse 35, Jesus says, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry. I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never grow hungry. What does that mean? Well, let me ask you a few other questions. Kind of get us thinking in this direction. Why are you following Jesus? What's your motivation for following Jesus and for being involved in church and doing what it is you think He wants you to do? Why are you following Jesus? Is it for selfish reasons? Trying to get something out of Him? Or do you really believe that Jesus is God, He's God's Son, and He's your Savior? Are you following Jesus so that you won't have any more problems in your life? Are you following Jesus because of what you think He can do for you? Are you seeking some type of material gain from following Jesus? Why are you following Jesus? And so let's look at the context of John chapter 6. John chapter 6 is a relatively long story, but it has 2 or 3 stories in it, or it's a long chapter that has 2 or 3 stories in it, and they all kind of fit together. And so in John chapter 6, verses 1 through 15, we're not going to read it, I'm just going to tell you the story. In those first 15 verses of John chapter 6, Jesus feeds 5,000 people with the loaves and the bread, or the loaves and the fish, the biscuits, bread. That's interesting because he's going to say bread of life, biscuits, and then some sardines, basically. And he feeds 5,000 men, which if there are women and children there, then there could have been as many as 15,000 to 20,000 people that Jesus fed with this, just a handful of food. Then in John chapter 6, verses 16 through 24, you have the story of Jesus walking on the water. Now what happens is, after Jesus feeds the 5,000, the disciples get on a boat and they go across to the other side of the lake. About halfway through, they looked up and they saw Jesus walking on the water out toward them. And so Jesus walks out on the water, He gets in the boat with them, they go to the other side of the lake, and there they spend the night. Only the disciples see Jesus walking on the water. All the people know is that He fed them, they were full, they went to sleep, and then the next day, Jesus was gone. And they didn't know where he'd gone to. And so they started looking for him. They wanted to find out where Jesus went. And then they were surprised when they finally found him on the other side of the lake. So they had walked all around the lake to the other side, a large lake, looking for Jesus. And when they find Jesus, they say in John chapter 6, verse 25, when they found him on the other side of the lake, they asked Jesus, Rabbi, when did you get here? What they really meant, or what they should have asked was, how did you get here? We walked all the way around and no one saw you get to the other side of the lake. You see, the people walked around the lake to the other side. Jesus walked across the lake to the other side. Rabbi, when did you get here? Now, here here is something that I find interesting about this story. The people were very, very happy that they found Jesus. But Jesus wasn't too happy that they found him. Do people, even good people who you like, your family members, your spouse, do people sometimes get on your nerves? Or is that just me? Are there some people who, every time, even though you love them and can do anything in the world for them, sometimes you just want to be away from them to collect your thoughts and just be with your close friends, and then when you see them coming, you everything, oh no, here they come. I think that's how Jesus was feeling, and I find it comforting that at times people got on Jesus' nerves. And so they were like thrilled to see Jesus. Rabbi, when did you get here? But then notice what Jesus says to the people in verse 36 or 26. Jesus answered, I tell you the truth. You are looking for me not because you saw miraculous signs, but because you ate the loaves and had your fill. Jesus was saying, the only reason you came looking for me is because you wanted something from me. That's the only reason. Specifically, you wanted another meal. I mean, it's breakfast time. You got to eat breakfast. You thought I was going to be there. I wasn't. And so you looked for me, and now you found me. And you don't even care about all the miraculous signs I've done, Jesus says. All you want is another meal. So why are you following Jesus? Why are you following him? What do you want from him? Look at what Jesus says in verse 27. He says, do not work for food that spoils, but for food that endures to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. On him, God the Father has placed his seal of approval. And then they asked Jesus, what must we do to do the works God requires? And Jesus answered, the work of God is this, to believe in the one he sent. Jesus just told the people that the simplicity of the gospel is to simply believe in him. The people go, we got to do something. Okay, Jesus, we hear what you're saying. We shouldn't just expect you to do something for us. We understand we might need to work for this. And so tell us, what kind of work do we need to receive from Jesus? And Jesus said, what you think you need from Jesus has already been provided for you through Jesus. All you have to do is believe. Just believe. But that was not enough for the people. You see, and I said this last week, but I'll say it again. Too often we make faith way too complicated. We make following Jesus way too complicated. We may come up with a list of rules, we come up with do's and don'ts, we come up with all these things that we got to do. Somehow or other we think if we do these things, then this work that we do for God then will accept it. And Jesus says, no, don't waste your time working for things that will spoil, eating food that will spoil. Just simply believe. But that wasn't enough, and you know it's still not enough. I mean, still, if you try to tell people, all you got to do is believe in Jesus, they still, in their minds, they know it's got to be more to it than that. If it sounds too good to be true, it must be too good to be true. And so it's like, well, there's got to be something else. So look what happens in verse 30. Jesus just got finished saying, just believe in me, verse 30. So they asked him, what miraculous sign then will you give that we may see it and believe you? What will you do? Our forefathers ate the manna in the desert. As it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. So the people asked for a sign. Okay, God. Okay, Jesus. I want to believe in you, but what are you going to do? What miracle are you going to perform? Give us a sign so that we'll know that we can believe in you. So the people asked for a sign. And notice the sign involved food. I mean, think about this. They are asking for a miraculous sign. And probably just 12 hours earlier, Jesus had fed the multitude with just a couple of biscuits and a few sardines. They had just seen a sign. Are you following? And now they're asking for another sign. They bring up this thing in the Old Testament where the children of Israel were wandering through the wilderness, and God provided their needs by sending manna from heaven for them to eat every day during that 40 years. Except on Sabbath, they had to collect 2 meals. If you remember the story, the way the law read, you were only supposed to collect enough manna to eat for 1 day. If you tried to hoard it, it would spoil within 24 hours. So you only collected what you could eat in 1 day. But then miraculously, over the Sabbath, it would last 48 hours. But there was this continual need of God, where God provided their daily bread. And Jesus had just done the same thing by feeding them. And here they are asking for a sign. And the sign they want goes back hundreds of years. Now, don't be too hard on me. Because we're a lot like them. You see, far too often, we focus so much on what God did years ago that we don't see what He did yesterday. I mean, they had just gotten a sign yesterday, but they didn't see it. So they were talking about the good old days. Oh, you remember the good old days back when it seemed like that God was on the move and I could feel His presence and He was answering my prayers. Oh, the good old days. Jesus is saying, don't focus so much on the past that you don't see what I did yesterday. Because, folks, God was at work yesterday in your life. He did something yesterday for you. And so you're thinking. Look at verse 22. Jesus said, I tell you the truth. It is not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father. And how often do we receive something? We think it came from man, but it really came from God. Moses didn't give you that manna. It was God who gave it to you. Verse 33. For the bread of God is He who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Sir, they said in verse 34, from now on give us this bread. And then in verse 35, then Jesus declared, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry, and he who believes in me will never be thirsty. But as I told you, you have seen me, and still you do not believe. All that the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me I will never drive away, for I came down from heaven, not to do my will, but to do the will of Him who sent me. And this is the will of Him who sent me, that I shall choose none, or that I shall lose none of all that He has given me, but raise them up at the last day. And look at verse 4. For my Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in Him shall have eternal life. And I will raise him up at that last day. You know, just this last week, I was talking with someone, and they opened up to me, confessed something. And then they looked at me and they said, Kevin, do you really think God will forgive me? I said, of course. He'll forgive you. Anyone who believes will have eternal life. Of course God will forgive you. But now, notice, the people understood exactly what Jesus was saying. When Jesus said, for the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world, in verse 33. Then he says in verse 35, I am the bread of life. And then he says in verse 38, for I have come down from heaven. The people understood that when he was saying that he had come down from heaven, and that he was, I am the bread of life, the people understood that he was claiming to be God. He wasn't just talking. He was making this tremendous statement that I am God. The people didn't like that. And so in verse 41, they start grumbling at what they said. At this, the Jews began to grumble about him because he said, I am the bread that came down from heaven. They said, is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How can he now say, I came down from heaven? What they were saying was, we know Jesus' family. We remember when this guy was a little boy. We remember him before he was this rabbi. We know him. How can he say he is God? You know, sometimes we get so comfortable in our faith, we lose sight of the miraculous. How can this be? And then look at verse 43. Stop grumbling among yourselves, Jesus answered. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. Salvation from beginning to the end is God's grace drawing us to himself. No room for words. Verse 45. It is written in the prophets, they will all be taught by God. Everyone who listens to the Father and learns from him comes to me. No one has seen the Father except the one who is from God. Only he has seen the Father. I tell you the truth. He who believes has everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your forefathers ate the manna in the desert, yet they died. Think about that. God did a miracle in their life, but they died. I've told this story before, so let me tell it again very, very quickly. Dr. Davis, David Davis' husband, came to me years ago and told me his testimony. He was sick. He was dying. But he came to me and he said, Kevin, I don't understand. God has miraculously healed me in the past. He was almost blind, and God healed him instantly. And he had 20/20 vision. And, so God had healed him in the past, and now he's saying, but now he's letting me get sick again, and I don't understand why. And I was young again, and I was praying for wisdom. And here's the smartest thing, but also the stupidest thing I've ever said. It came to my mind, and I thought it was God. So I said, Dr. Davis, you are a Bible scholar. You know the Bible better than me. And you know that everybody Jesus healed in the Bible eventually died. And then I thought, I just told God he was going to die. How dumb is that? And he looked at me and he started laughing. And he said, you know, Kevin, you're right. Everybody got healed, died. And so here's Jesus saying, your forefathers, you want this sign, this miracle from the past to come into your life, where God miraculously gave your forefathers manna in the desert, but every one of them died. I am the bread of life. What I give you will last you. Once again, claiming to be God. Verse 51. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. Then listen. This bread is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. Then the Jews began to argue sharply among themselves. How can this man give us his flesh to eat? saying, I tell you the truth, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is real food, and my blood is real drink. Doesn't that sound a whole lot more serious than what we do every week? Did you know that one of the reasons the early Christians in the book of Acts and immediately after the close of the New Testament were persecuted so hard and killed is because King Nero, Emperor Nero, started a rumor among the community because Nero had burnt down this core part of town to build his own race place and a new capital and all that. And so he burnt down this place. He wanted nobody to find out. This fire was starting in Rome, and it burnt all the poor neighborhood. And then the rumor started happening that Nero had set the fire on purpose. And so you get that saying, Rome burned while Nero paid his food. That saying there. And so they were saying Nero did this on purpose. And so to get the heat off of him, he blamed it on the Christians. And so the people turned against the Christians and they started persecuting him. And one of the things he said about the Christians was, look, it's not me. It's those crazy people who are following Jesus. They are cannibals. Because every time they get together, they eat flesh and drink blood. That's who you need to be. A whole lot more serious than grape juice and bread. But the symbolism is there. That's what Jesus is saying, and what he was predicting was, look, I am going to die for you. And so he who believes in me has eternal life because I'm going to give my life for you. I'm going to sacrifice my body and my blood for you. And then we have that symbolized through communion. Verse 56. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I am in him. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so the one who feeds on me will live because of me. This is the bread that came down from heaven. Your forefathers ate manna and died, but he who feeds on this bread will live forever. He said this while teaching in the synagogue in Capernaum. And look at verse 60. On hearing this idea of eating flesh and drinking blood, all the sacrificial, on hearing that, many of his disciples said, this is a hard teaching. Who can accept it? And then look at verse 66. From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him. This is it. Following Jesus is not easy. If you think it is, you ain't following the right Jesus. Following Jesus is not easy. Living up to Jesus' teachings is hard. And so here is Jesus giving this teaching of how he is going to sacrifice his life, and how by eating the flesh and drinking the blood, we too are to sacrifice our life. We become one with Christ. All of this difficult teaching, and the disciples, people who have been following him, started turning away from him. Everybody wants to follow Jesus when he's giving you food, but when he asks for a sacrifice, people start jumping. This is too difficult. This is a hard teaching. Who can accept it? And so I ask again, why are you following Jesus? What does it mean to say that Jesus is the bread of life? Two applications. saving bread. That's really what he had in mind when he was talking about what would become known as communion. And later on in all the Gospels, Jesus talks about the Last Supper. So Jesus is the saving bread. Now, the two aspects of this saving bread. One is that it's free from work. That's in verses 28 and 29, and we won't read those again. But Jesus was saying, the people were saying, what do we have to work in order to get to this? And Jesus said, the work of God is this: believe in the one. This saving bread is free from work, but then it's also for the world. Jesus said that the will of my Father is this, that everyone who believes in me will have joy. You can't keep it to yourself. You have to give it away. We have received the bread of life, and now we give that bread of life to others. Jesus is the saving bread. The second application is that Jesus is the sustaining bread. Jesus just doesn't save us and then leave us alone. Rather, he starts the sanctifying work in us. And so the same bread that saves us sustains us. In fact, what we saw in this story is that a major difference in the manna of the Old Testament and the bread of life, Jesus, is that the manna was temporary. The bread of life is eternal. It sustains us. But now get this. The sustaining bread sustains us, and it sustains us because it is daily. You see, in the Old Testament, the manna came daily, but eventually it spoiled, it died. Now Jesus says, I am the bread of life. I have come to save you, and now I have come to sustain you, because you will get this bread of life daily. Jesus prayed. You remember what he prayed? We say it every week. Jesus prayed, give us today our daily bread. The Bible tells us that his mercies are new each and every day. He gives us the bread that we need so that we can live the life that he has asked us to live. He is the saving bread. He is the sustaining bread. Now, this sermon started with some diet rules, so let me end it with something about diet. Here are a few actual diet facts. If you're looking for a new diet, and all these diet facts, by the way, they're proven. If you follow them closely, you'll lose weight. So here's some diet facts. One is called the Twinkie diet. The Twinkies were invented in the 1930s. Every Twinkie only has 150 calories. And so at some point after the 30s, somebody came up with this bright idea. If I eat nothing but Twinkies, I will lose weight. Because you can eat 10 Twinkies a day, and that's only 150 calories. Now you get sick of Twinkies, and you won't get the other nourishment you need. But if you need to lose weight, don't eat anything but Twinkies for 30 days. Nothing but Twinkies. And then come back and report. Here's another diet. This is something I may have to try now that I'm a granddad. But it's called the baby food diet. This is nothing but baby food. You'll lose weight. If you eat, and you won't be satisfied, but you'll lose weight. And then in the early 1900s, a guy in San Francisco actually wrote a book called that talked about the chewing diet, which meant that when you eat your food, you chew it until it becomes nothing but liquid, and then you spit it out. Don't swallow. You'll lose weight, but you won't. And here's one more: the vision diet. This diet said it would give you blue tinted glasses, and the theory was if you wore these blue tinted glasses all the time, everything that you want to eat looks disgusting through those blue glasses. So you don't eat it. All those diets will work, but none of them will satisfy. You will still get hungry. Jesus says, I'm the bread of life. He who comes to me with that will. In other words, you can eat so many Twinkies you'll eventually get sick. You can eat so much chocolate you'll eventually get sick. You can eat so many green vegetables that eventually you will get sick. But you can never have enough of Jesus. He will always fulfill you. He will always give you what you need. You can drink so much water. Did you know this? That you can eventually die if you drink too much water. But Jesus said, if you eat this bread, believe in me, you'll never go hungry again. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this. Lord, we are so thankful that you have given us Jesus, who came down from heaven and gives us what we need. And all you ask is that we believe. Lord, we believe that Jesus is the bread of life who saves us and who sustains us. We believe that you have promised that you will give us this day our daily bread. So Lord, help us to feast on you, to feast on your word, to feast on your goodness and all the things that you've done for us. Help us to find nourishment and strength and courage and comfort in you and you alone. We'll give you praise. In Jesus' name. You will stand? Let's say a prayer. And as we say this, really reflect on our praise. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. You're dismissed, so we don't have to carry it.
What's that? Hold up. So let me turn these off. Thank you, brother. Sure appreciate it. They should be in. I think they told me Tuesday or Wednesday. Put it there. I don't know what it's for. Okay. There we go.
How you been doing since I saw you?
What size did you give a
I got
size?
an extra large. Like that fit tight on it. You get it, bro.
I like this one.